Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Top Producers Nation podcast. This, of course, is the podcast designed to help agents become top producers in their desired market, no matter where that may be, all across the country. We also are helping team leaders develop top producers on their teams all over the country. We're also powered on a local level by the Tampa Bay Real Producers franchise here in beautiful Tampa Bay, Florida. We're actually shooting today out of one of our new studios on the streets of Route 54. If you know anything about the geographic area here in Tampa Bay, it's a booming area here in Route 54, and so we are hanging out at our new studio here, really as a guest in many ways of Katrina Madewell. So shout out to Katrina, and thank you for your usage of your studio here today. We feature the top 500 producing agents in the Tampa Bay market through our magazine and through a lot of the events that we host throughout this local market. And so our guest today here in studio is John Debellevue. Good to have you here today, John.
Glad to be here, Don.
No doubt, man. Absolutely. If you might be recognized at all with John, we just recently featured him. I guess that would be our February issue, I believe, off the top of my head. So February of 2026, you'll see John's article in there at Tampa Bay Real Producers. You can find it, by the way, at tampabayrealproducers.com if you want to click issues, and then you'll see John's article in there. So we're going to dive in a little bit to his background and his story. So we'll start there, John, for people who might not have read your article or learned anything about you yet.
Absolutely.
Did you grow up in Tampa? If not, how did you get here? We'll start there.
Yeah, so I am a local. I grew up on Anna Maria Island, just at the mouth of the bay.
Okay.
And I'm a fifth generation Floridian. My family actually started in citrus and cattle here in the Tampa Bay region.
Nice.
And we helped found
Raise some cattle, huh?
Yeah.
A little herding of the cattle. I like it.
Yeah. Great granddaddy. He helped found Pasco Packing. Which
Okay.
Was now it's owned by the Likes brothers, like everything else citrus.
There
in
we
Florida.
go. So you got some real roots in the area.
But needless to say, yeah,
Cool.
True Floridian over here.
John, by the way, is obviously a top producer with LPT Realty. I think I saw through one of the forms here that you are, what is it, 3-time gold badge winner with LPT. Is that right? I know that's one of their recognizable levels. And so obviously that was how we got connected to John to have him featured in the issue.
It.
So let's talk about, was real estate always something that you were interested in, or what made you go down this path of getting licensed as an agent?
I grew up in it to an extent. My mother decided to become a realtor when I was in elementary school.
Okay.
And so I grew up in that environment, doing homework in the brokerage office,
All
right? Being her security at the open houses.
Okay. So you did have some experience with it as a young age.
You know.
You were acting as her bouncer at the open house.
I had my own journey and, adventures, and 2001 ended up getting my real estate license, pursuing,
2001 or 2021?
I'm sorry, 2021.
Got it. Okay.
2021.
Yep.
My mom's been licensed since 2001.
There we go. Nice. Is she still in the business?
Yeah, she is.
Okay.
She practices over in California now.
Nice. Very cool.
Change of scenery.
Yeah, that makes
Something
sense.
different. Very competitive market.
Did you live in have you always stayed in this market?
I've always been in Florida.
Got it. So in 2021, did you have another career at the time that when you decided to switch and go into real estate, or what were you doing then?
I was in another service-based industry, commission-based.
Okay.
So
a little sales background.
Sales background, customer service background.
Mm-hmm.
Was feeling stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't like the direction things were headed. Felt like there was a cap to where I could grow.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided to get my license. And lucky for me, at the turn of COVID in that crazy market.
Yeah, perfect timing,
huh? Was able to jump in and hit the ground running.
So tell me about that first year. You got licensed in 2021, right in the heat of COVID, as you just mentioned, which was a booming year for real estate in this market for sure, as it seemed like a lot of the closed down states were driving people to Florida at the time. And so did you find immediate success in that first year? What did it look like?
I mean, I think like any realtor, you take the course, you pass the exam, and you're kind of thrown to the wolves.
Yeah.
Right? So if you don't grab a mentor, luckily I did, those first few months can be really tough.
Yeah.
I had a great mentor. I started with a small boutique brokerage. They're still around. And they gave me really good training. And so I was able to land my first listing, within 6-8 months of being licensed.
Okay.
If you're an agent,
So your focus was on trying to find listings from the beginning.
Yep.
You weren't really focus as much on buyers, even though I'm sure you serve
not
buyers too.
necessarily buyer heavy.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Got
then
it.
from that one listing, you get the lead inquiries, that spirals, you do a deal with one of them, they refer their cousin, that cousin refers somebody else. And so I was able to build that initial book of business off of just doing good business with a couple people who then referred their family and friends, and it was able to spiral from there.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And so have you found that there's a specific type of client or customer that you feel like you really serve well? Is there a niche there at all for you?
Yeah, 95% of our business is investors.
Okay.
Whether that is, buy and hold rentals, small multifamily, getting into the real estate business atmosphere, so hotels or motels, RV parks, we kind of operate in that realm. And then, like I mentioned, we take referrals.
Yep.
So if we've got a friend or a family member or a past client who, sends somebody to us, we're going to obviously honor that
Totally.
client and that relationship, and we're going to take care of them as well. Whether they're a consumer or an investor doesn't matter to us. If
Yep.
if we get a referral, we're going to take good care of them.
Did you intentionally try to position yourself to attract investors, or did investors just kind of like fall on your plate and you started serving more and more of them?
When I got into real estate, I knew in the investor market was where I wanted to be,
Okay. Why was that?
because investors provide repeat business.
Yep. I get that. That makes sense.
It's great to assist somebody in finding their primary residence, and it gives you a great sense of gratification and satisfaction to help people. That's something that I love about real estate, and I'll never stop loving. But we do all have to pay our bills,
Sure.
right?
We got to make business decisions.
And working with investors, we're able to take distressed, dilapidated housing and revitalize it.
Yep.
And put it back on the market so that somebody can come in and that their agent can feel that sense of gratification when they move into that home.
Totally. No, it makes all sense in the world. So in the investor world, is most of your experience on like the fix and flip model, or is it more of the landlord style where they are doing a renovation, but more for the holdings so that they can rent it? Or is there a different one that has been, or is it all of the above?
So we do a little bit of everything. But primarily what propels our business is the fix and flip model.
Okay.
I'm also a licensed contractor, so I'm able to
That makes you even more valuable as an agent, right?
provide a turnkey service to those investors where they don't have to try and shop everything out.
Totally. That's
So-
awesome, which I think is one of the big challenges and pain points that a lot of investors have, is finding good people that can do the work, right?
Good, trustworthy
Good contractors and people that are going to actually get the job done on timelines that they say they're going to get them done on, at price points that they say they're going to get them done at. There's a lot of horror stories out there of investors that I know. I've dealt with that network a little bit.
Coming.
Yeah, I can understand that. So that's really neat. So I know you have a couple different businesses. So
Yeah.
you have the licensed real estate. You just mentioned that you're a licensed contractor. You also are a builder, I believe, right? A licensed builder as well. So talk to us about that. Like, has that always been the strategy to like have these different verticals in past, or they just kind of happened based on opportunity that have happened where someone has had a need and you wanted to step into it? What's been your thought process on that?
I would say the pursuit of construction and being a builder stemmed from the lack of quality and attention to care that I was seeing with the contractors that my investors were interacting with.
Okay.
And that I was experiencing myself interacting with contractors.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anytime there's a gap in a market, there's an opportunity to fill it. So why would I outsource when I could be the solution to that gap?
Sure.
When I could fill that gap. From doing all the fix and flips, I was able to gain the construction knowledge, fall in love with it, develop a passion for it, and grow that passion into what now is my construction company.
Okay. So is your construction company one and the same with the building, or is that two different entities altogether?
So the Glades Bay is our construction company.
Okay.
And so our contracting license and all of our builds go through Glades Bay.
Okay. And that is the building, so that's the same entity.
So it's the same company.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, one company for all of our construction operations.
So when you say that you're a builder, are you building new construction?
Yes, we do
Okay.
actively have pre-sale units up and available on the MLS.
Okay.
What we do is, we provide the plans, conceptuals, the renderings, all of the marketing material to either a listing agent if they have a piece of land and they want to increase the value of that land
Mm-hmm.
listing, or a tear down on the coast,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We come in as a builder partner only. They retain their relationship with their client.
Mm-hmm.
We don't interfere there. And we pre-market a product to the consumer, qualify them for financing. The seller never carries financial risk from the build.
Mm-hmm.
The agent gets compensated based off of the new construction pricing. And we, like I said, we come in as the builder partner. And once we've secured that end user for the product, we go vertical. We retitle the land to the purchaser. Construction agreement is simultaneously executed when they go into agreement to purchase the land. And everybody gets to win in that scenario. The buyer gets a brand new home. The seller walks away with more profit than they would have off of their original listing. And the agents also get compensated more, which is something very different that you're not going to find a lot of builders doing.
Yeah, it's interesting. We do work with some builders, and I'm, had many conversations with builders through our platform, right, with real producers. There's not many of them who can offer both sides of that coin that you just described, as the realtor piece, and then also can be the builder piece as well. Usually, and I don't know the exact reasons why, but I think maybe just, scope and being able to kind of balance. There's a lot of work involved with both those businesses, right?
Yes.
So it's I would think hard to figure out that balance and to be able to do both well.
Yeah.
But it sounds like that's been something that you've been able to carve out and work. So tell us about your infrastructure. Do you have a team of people that are focusing on real estate, or other teams focused on building, or what does that look like for your organization?
Yeah, so with our construction company, we've obviously started to build out a team. We have all of our trade subs, vendors. Those have been built out, from the beginning. But for our actual structure, we have a director of new investor relations who's not a licensed agent, and she handles all of our conversations and onboarding with potential new investors who want to get into development, strictly construction.
Got it.
And then I have two colleagues also with LPT Realty who help handle the buyer side of things. So they're essentially our buyer specialists.
Okay.
So that way I only have to focus on are things going well with the listing, and are things going well with the construction company? And are things operating as they should? Are all the cogs greased, oiled, and moving as they should?
Makes sense.
The partnership scenario I mentioned earlier, that's something we offer to other list agents. And then when it comes to our own landowners and sellers, we offer them that same structure, but we're obviously the brokerage in the office that's listing the product.
Is it all single family residences that you're building, or what does that look like?
We are trying to work on some stuff out on the beaches right now. Small
multifamily,
2 to 3 unit developments.
Okay.
Either townhomes or small condo style units. The scope of my license doesn't allow me to do commercial, but that is something that may be coming in the future. There's an upgrade possibility there in the next 2 to 3 years.
And that's considered anything over 5 units, right? Is that commercial for the licensing?
So with construction, it's actually weird. They consider anything commercial, anything over 3 units.
Oh, really?
Different than in the construction industry. So it's a little different than real estate, where we consider anything over 4 units.
Yeah.
Anything under 4 units would be residential.
Right.
But with construction and the way that their codes are outlined, it's
3 or more.
3. Yep.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't know that. So where do you find yourself, John, investing most of your time on a regular basis? Is it serving clients on the real estate side? Is it on the building side? Is it really balanced 50-50 between both? Or what does that normally look like for you personally?
I would say we try to keep it balanced 50-50. If you let one thing slip a little bit too much, you're gonna go on a downward trajectory.
Sure.
So we try to put an equal amount of effort and attention into both of the businesses, whether that's prospecting or running the books. We put an active effort into both each and every single day.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Between just me and you talking here, nobody's paying attention. So do you have a favorite of the two? Does one of them resonate with you more?
Like I said, we've all got to eat, Don. And, you know, being a builder pays a little better than being a realtor.
Yeah.
So,
Does it really? Okay.
yeah,
That's good to know.
just a little bit.
There
Just
you
a little
go.
bit. We're not gonna get into numbers here because I might have some angry.
I was going to ask you to pull out the P&L next.
I'll get some angry agents, you know, calling me going, "You're making how much?" But you know, the
Are you guys also doing remodels?
yeah,
Okay.
we do
So
major renovations.
got
We
it.
can do home additions,
Okay.
ADUs, garages, pool houses.
Cool.
You know, and then we've got great subcontractors if somebody wanted to, you know, do anything else like add a pool or something like that. We can
Yeah.
always connect them with a fantastic tradesman or contractor.
Is there a geographic area that you like to stay in, or does it matter?
Yeah, we try to stay in Tampa Bay, Sarasota Bay area.
Okay.
You know, within an hour's drive of Tampa. We don't want to overextend our crews and overextend ourselves in a capacity to where we can't properly service the customer.
Yeah.
Or our investors, right? Because then we end up being that
Yeah. Why spread yourselves
falling
too
into
thin?
that demographic that we don't want to fall into. Delayed timeline, you know, we'd rather not even try to do stuff that doesn't make sense feasibly.
Totally.
Because
Yeah.
then we could start dropping the ball.
And you personally live up in like, is it Wesley Chapel?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm right on the New Tampa, right on the county line.
Okay.
So I'm technically Hillsborough County, but if you walk 5 feet the other way, you're in Pasco.
Right. I gotcha. I can relate. I'm over here off of 54, so we have the same concept.
Yeah.
We technically are in Pasco actually here,
Yeah.
but across the street is Hillsborough County. So I can relate to that. So on the investor side, and it seems like what you said earlier, 95% of your real estate business is working with investors. Is that still true today?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you now at this point just kind of build that off of word of mouth as investors hear that you're serving others, or do you do anything else intentionally to try to get in front of more investors?
You know, I think if you're not on social media and you're not actively prospecting every single day, you're doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing yourself a disservice.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not you're busy, I think off the top of my head, I think I have 6 active listings right now.
Okay.
We've got over $2 million in active listed inventory right now.
Okay.
And we're, you know, looking at putting another 3 potentially on the market if these build partnerships go through with the landowners.
Yep.
But despite that, you will see me on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on YouTube every single day. We post weekly videos on YouTube. We do little mini series and stuff like that. Whether we get engagement doesn't matter to me. It's the exposure and having my face out there on the platform. Because if somebody Googles John Debellevue, I want to be on every single platform. You want to be seen. So we make sure to consistently post.
And when you are posting, is your target audience the investors? Are you trying to talk directly to them?
That's who we prioritize. That's really who we want to connect with.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be silly for us not to try and connect with consumers as well, especially having a construction company, because we're more than happy to build a home for an end user.
Sure.
And we don't want consumers or a buyer to think that we're not willing to give them a beautiful product. And potentially at, you know, a much more competitive price, considering that we do work primarily with investors.
Yeah.
But
I'm assuming, and you correct me if I'm wrong, when you're working on the building side with investors, is that usually more of like the remodeling and flipping model compared to a new construction build? It's probably not an investor play as much. Even though some developers you could qualify as investors as well.
With the investor developers, what you typically see them doing is they're either going to be building for profit or they're going to be building to rent. Those are really the only 2 times you see people getting into new construction for investment purposes.
Technically, even in like a market like one of the ones we live in, where there's a lot of big population growth, they know there's going to be more and more people coming into this area. Rob and I were talking about that even before we started the episode today. And so as an investor, that would be, hey, there's going to be some increased rents, right, coming into this territory probably for the next decade plus. And so that's where they might do the math and consider, here's an area that I'd want to build new in, knowing that I can have a premium rental for, 10, 15 plus years here, right?
The big appeal for them to build is, resale, you could be paying $225 plus a square foot for something that's already built. they come in and build new, they could be paying 140 to 150 a foot to build new.
I didn't realize it was that much of a difference. Interesting.
About a 50% margin, depending on
the remodeling.
depending on the overall product that is being built.
Why is that?
Because value creation is made in development.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody can build a house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why I got the license.
Yeah.
You're creating value out of absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're taking raw materials at cost and raw labor at cost, and we're creating something that's valuable, but we're not going, once it's complete, we're not going to give it to you at our cost.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I could be pretty naive.
It's
I
gonna
probably
be-
am in many ways,
but-
but I
but
think
if
most people assume new construction would cost them more.
No.
That's interesting.
It depends. If you're building luxury, it could,
Yeah.
but you're probably looking at spending the same amount of money you would go to buy something that's ready.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're going to be to current codes.
Do you work with do you have like an architect in-house or something that builds something to spec and custom with a potential buyer, or is that a different part of the process?
we have a couple architect firms and
Yeah.
engineering firms that we work with, because we like to give potential custom clients the option.
Mm-hmm.
We want them to feel trust
Mhm.
and feel comfortable moving forward with the person who's designing their home.
Yeah.
And
So you just have some strategic partners
that's
there.
a different fit for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's ties into personality a lot, because you're going to be working with that person and very closely for the next 8 to 12 months of your life.
Totally.
As well as me.
They become a very important
So-
partner in the process.
We want to make sure we all get along.
Yeah.
So we like to typically what we do is we typically have 3 preferred partners for every, for banking, for insurance, for warranties, and for architects and
Mhm.
engineers, because
Mhm.
we want them to have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
We're not trying to steer them. We're trying to make sure that they feel good and confident about the decision that they've made, and they know that these are the people that we trust.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. No, it makes all the sense in the world. And having those partners, obviously with our platform, we have an entire section on our
Yeah.
website for preferred partners,
Yeah.
right? For the same purpose, just to make sure we have trusted, vetted vendors and preferred partners, we call them, who have been recommended by the top agents who we know love to serve the agents and really value those relationships, right?
Absolutely.
Above everything. When you think about this year for you, John, 2026, and then moving forward, like what gets you excited now as you evolve into the next phase of things moving forward? Do you want to share a goal that you have or something that gets you fired up when you wake up in the morning?
I mean, honestly, the construction company's got me really fired up right now.
Does it?
We've been having what I would consider an astounding amount of success for the age of the company.
Mm-hmm.
We started 2 months ago, and while I've been in construction, as long as I've been in real estate, about 5+ years now,
The entity's new.
the entity itself is new.
Yeah.
And so having having potential investors and owners take us seriously and give us the opportunity to even put a pre-sale unit on their, tied to their parcel
Mm-hmm.
is one of the biggest compliments we could get.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think about the fact that we might have a $2.5 million spec build coming to the market in the next 30 to 40 days,
Nice.
that's a big deal.
Yeah,
being
absolutely.
a 2-month-old company.
Absolutely.
Or
Congrats.
or $1 million one up here in the Tampa Bay area. And so I'd say that's what's pushing me right now to get up every morning, and I feel invigorated by it because I know that my businesses tie into each other.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very well.
I get to support the construction with the real estate, and I get to support the real estate with the construction,
Mm-hmm.
and they vertically feed each other.
Totally. When the storms hit a couple years ago here,
Yeah.
and obviously it really devastated a lot of the coastline and so forth, what opportunities, if any, did that bring from your client's perspective? Or has that been an area that's been targeted by your investors at all?
There's still opportunities, Don.
I know there is,
It's incredible.
Yeah.
the amount of, I mean, those are some of the deals that we're looking at signing on right now.
Sure.
Is, out on St. Pete Beach, Treasure Island, Madeira, Reddington Shores. It's terrible what these property owners went through.
Yeah.
It's,
Many of them still waiting for insurance
waiting on insurance, waiting on FEMA, getting told that their home is not worth, enough to fix it in many cases. But, there's two sides to every coin. And so luckily, those people are still able to sell their land at market value. Many of them owned their properties for many, many years. And so investors have come in and they've purchased these lots, a lot of them. And the coast is booming.
Yeah.
Man, it's booming.
You're going to see a lot of new construction popping up over the next decade out there. Huh?
It's everywhere, but it's needed.
Sure.
And that's the difference between reckless and pointless development and sustainable infill development, which is another thing that we really focus on, is sustainable infill development, going into areas where all of the infrastructure is already in place, and we're just providing updated housing.
Yeah,
that makes sense for the modern day.
With the effects of the storm a couple of years ago, that in terms of what that taught people and showed, does that affect how you build now out there? Have things changed in terms of what they're allowing to be built in terms of property structures, things of that nature?
Yeah, with the direct hit, it really affected how people who owned existing properties were able to renovate and restore their property. And it also affected how we build moving forward, as far as elevation levels, materials, and ensuring that, every builder is meeting code compliance. It's there for a reason. And what I think people forget is code is the bare minimum of how you should be building. And so we pride ourselves in exceeding the standard code when we build.
Right.
And that's how we do it differently, to ensure that our structures are not going to suffer those same losses.
So an event like that does generally change the code, right?
It will make them reevaluate the code. And, when FEMA goes in and starts talking about adjusting, the flood maps and the elevations and things like that, they take that into consideration with the code as well. Yeah. Right now we're working off the 2023 residential code. But I wouldn't be surprised if in a year or two we're working off of a completely updated code. Every couple years they go through and we update it.
Yep. No, it makes sense. Let's switch gears a little bit to just talk about some of the personal side for people who might not have read your story. So I know we already mentioned you grew up in this area. Family in this area, family, kids, relationship. What's the story there, John?
Yeah, I'm married. I've been happily married for a little over 5 years. Got a very supportive partner.
Congratulations.
Yeah, lucky. Very.
What do you guys love to do for fun?
We're real outdoorsy people. Growing up in Florida, that's my favorite place to be, is outside. So, we're big beach people. We paddle board, we kayak, we, do the springs, horseback riding.
Very cool.
And then, downtime, we go to the, do stuff like normal stuff. We go to the gym, have a nice night out.
Gotta stay fit, my man. Gotta stay fit.
Have a nice night out and, just making the most out of life here.
If you do travel, is there a favorite place that you guys have gone for vacation or anything come to mind?
We really like the Appalachian Mountains.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty.
We mostly travel domestically. We're planning to do some more international travel in the coming years.
You're a hiker, huh?
Yeah. We really like the Appalachians. We go up to the Carolinas a couple of different times a year.
Nice. Yeah, we take the family up to the Smokies, usually about once a year at least minimum, but it's beautiful up there for sure. You don't get the mountains in Florida as much, so if you're going to take a little road trip, that's a good place to go.
We've got some big hills. That's about it.
That's right. And I don't know if this is true or not, but I was told that the highest point in Florida is over at Bach Tower.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Are you familiar? Have you been there before? Yeah. So it is pretty over there, and we've taken that little road trip with the family before as well. And there is like a hill, like you said, that you can basically have a decent view from.
Yeah, it's surprising.
Yeah, and I remember standing up there thinking, I guess this might be the highest point in Florida.
Yeah,
you don't see these views for most parts,
Yeah, like 300 something feet up, and you're
That's right.
I'm on top of the world.
It does
you
feel a little
know?
bit rare for the state of Florida,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, beautiful grounds over there.
It is. It's pretty.
Beautiful
So if you haven't
grounds.
checked that out, that's a little shout out for the Bach Tower people out there, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to help all people here with our podcast today. A couple quick things regarding, I call this our rapid fire session. Ready?
Let's go.
So do you have a favorite book, author, seminar that you've ever attended
I
that you feel like has made an
uh,
impact on you?
I like psychology books, mindset growth books. So
Yeah.
like power of positivity, psychology of money, how to influence friends and win people over.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's the actual title of the book, but it was close. It was
I knew what you meant.
It was close enough, you guys. You know which book I'm talking about.
I think it's How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
Right? Did I get that
Yeah,
one right,
how
Rob?
to
There
win
we
friends
go.
and influence people.
That's the one. That's the one.
Um,
Those
but,
are all
you know,
classics, though.
anything, and then occasionally throw some fiction in there. But a lot of what I like to read is non-fictional, growth, mindset,
Personal development.
personal
Mhm.
development.
Do you have anyone that you follow in that space?
I do. I follow a couple different economists
Okay.
and mindset people. Everybody's got their favorites, so I'm not gonna
No doubt.
pour out mine.
Well, I think it's always important for us to recognize that that mental headspace is
Yeah.
going to really dictate our success in so many different ways. Not just how much
Absolutely.
money we make in our business, but our level of fulfillment, which ultimately I think is what most of us are pursuing.
Yeah.
Right? Is, are we really living fulfilled lives? And that's that balance of success, I would say, from a business standpoint, but also family and friends and spiritually and just feeling like you're really living the life that we're all here to have, right?
Yeah,
So
fulfillment's a hard peak to reach. I think I'm just searching for peace. Tom.
I don't think we ever quite reach it ultimately, but it's a journey. It's a journey worth pursuing, I guess. Like a mentor
Absolutely.
once
I
taught me.
agree.
Do you have a favorite movie or TV show?
Favorite movie or TV show? Well, my spouse is Spanish, so I get sucked into a lot of telenovelas.
Okay.
So those have become the bane of my existence. That's usually, if we're both home, that's probably what's on the TV. But if I'm by myself, I'm likely watching some construction video on YouTube. If I'm being completely honest with you, I'm watching some other builder build something
I got
because it interests me.
Do you speak Spanish?
Yes, I
You
do.
Nice.
Yeah.
At home?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep,
So
yep.
that's
I
like
wouldn't
your
say I'm 100% fluent, but I would consider myself bilingual.
very nice. So that must help too, I think, with working with certain investors and
Yeah,
obviously certain clients. I think that always
Absolutely.
helps bridge the gap, I would imagine.
especially in construction.
Yeah, no doubt. Do you speak any other languages or just those two?
No, I can understand. I can understand a little bit of Italian, little French, but I can't speak worth a darn.
What is Debellevue?
Debellevue is French.
It is French.
Yeah,
Have you been to France?
From my dad's side. I have not been to France.
Okay.
I have been to quite a bit of the UK.
Yeah, we took a trip there years ago too with my wife and I. Not bad place to visit.
No.
We were actually in Ireland most of the time, but we spent a little puddle jumper over to London for a long weekend. So
Yeah.
got to see some things. Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing
I've been
crazy.
both those places. They're nice.
They are.
Got
Yeah,
some
we
beautiful
enjoyed it. We
got
like
some beautiful scenery.
Galway a lot. That was I felt like real Ireland in many ways, kind of the image that I had
Yeah.
in my head. And then we did spend some time in Dublin as well when we were out there, which was a little bit more touristy and it has the little bit of more of the city feel. Even though there's no skyscrapers as you know out there.
Yeah.
Like the tallest building in all of Ireland is the Guinness factory,
I know.
which is not extremely tall regardless, So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting when we were out there, but it definitely was a cool experience. All right, so two more things. Do you have any sort of like affiliation or with nonprofits or anything that you think has been a passion for you that you wanted to throw out there at all that people can at least be aware of or get behind if they would like to?
Absolutely. I mean, being a native Floridian, there's quite a few nonprofits that support, environmental activism and environmental protections that I support. Friends of the Everglades is a big one. Captains for Clean Water is another big one.
Cool.
Those are both local, state-run organizations that are helping to restore the Everglades and fight for our natural water sources.
Yeah.
And locally, recently I was donated to an organization called Music for Pinellas, and he also owns or I shouldn't say owns. He also runs another organization called Rock. I think it's called Rock and Jocks. So those two organizations are local to Pinellas.
Yeah.
Music for Pinellas helps support music lessons, instrument rentals, things of that nature for potentially underprivileged or youth who can't afford it. And then Rock and Jocks help support them with sports programs and athletic programs.
We did a feature once. So one of the reasons why I asked the question is we try to feature, we have a section in the magazine called Making a Difference sometimes where we'll spotlight nonprofits that agents are affiliated with. And one of the ones we did at one point last year was a musical nonprofit where they were providing instruments. And I can't remember if that's the name of it or not. It might have been a different organization now. But it was a great article about that, providing instruments to kids who grew up who were musically inclined, but they just didn't have the means to be able to either buy an instrument or whatever. And it was a cool article. So it's funny that you bring that up now.
I love those programs. I think it's really great.
Are you a musician?
My dad was.
Okay.
Before he passed away.
Nice. Okay.
My dad did a little bit of professional music.
What type of music?
Mostly blues, jazz, classic rock.
Okay. Do you have some instruments at home?
Nope. Just my
just enjoy the music.
Mediocre pipes.
Well, here's my last question for you, John, as we wrap up to get you out of here on time.
No worries.
As we think about hopefully many, many years from now, and you are sitting on that rocking chair and thinking about your legacy, right? And what would be most important to you. What do you think would be, personally or professionally, most important to you that you'd want to be known for? What type of legacy do you think you'd want to leave if you had that chance to look back?
I think when I look back, what's most important to me isn't being the biggest realtor or the biggest builder. It's being the best that I can be and the most intentional. I want to be remembered for building and creating beautiful spaces for people that last a lifetime, not for how much money I make or the business accomplishments that I have.
Sure. Yeah, I love that.
I want the spaces that we create to be filled with memories and joy, and that'll be the biggest payback for me in the long run.
And what's neat about that answer is you're doing that now, right? So you're aligned already. One of the reasons why I asked that question, and I don't necessarily tell this to all the guests, but I think it just hit me in some ways, is to see if that vision that you have for that is aligned with what you're currently doing.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of times, unfortunately, it's not, where you can, if you really think a little deeper about what would be most important to you, it could be something completely different from where most of your time and energy is being spent right now. And so I know even at times, like I've really tried to think through that and identify whether I'm really investing my time in the areas that I think are most important to the legacy I'd want to leave. And you are, based on the answer that you just gave. So I think that that's great. And, it shows that once you're in true alignment with what that vision looks like for your legacy and your work speaks to that, you can operate with much more purpose and intent. And I would think enjoy and like we talked about earlier, be a little bit more fulfilled in the whole process. So I applaud you for that.
If you're going to, last note, and this is for anybody in real estate, if you're going to get into an industry of service, remember that you're serving the people, not yourself.
True. Yeah. Amen. Couldn't agree more.
That's all.
Yeah. If you don't approach that from a true consultant mindset, then
that's what
something's backwards.
If you can remember that every day, you will be incredibly successful, because serving other people will take you to peaks that you never thought you would reach.
I couldn't agree more. If somebody wanted to follow you, John, what's the best way for them to follow you on social media? I know we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Where would they do that?
Yeah. So they can find me on Instagram at J Debellevue, and that's gonna be pretty much my handle for most platforms. It's just gonna be at J Debellevue, or they can look, type in the search bar John Debellevue, and it should pop up.
Very cool. We'll put that in the description as well, so that our audience knows.
Awesome.
So thanks for being here, John. It was a great pleasure to have you in studio.
Appreciate it.
We always try to end the episode with a call to action, a challenge to the audience. So if you're watching live on YouTube or Facebook or listening in, on, Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast platform you might be hearing this from. What is one action step that you can take today from this conversation here with John that'll make sure that you can lock in the value of what you just listened to for the last half hour or so? And if you don't get into that habit of like taking action, at least even just one thing, it could be ordering one of the books that John threw out there as a reference. It could be maybe you're very interested in this whole builder conversation that John and I had, and maybe that's something that interests you, whether that would be working with someone like John as a builder and learning more about how to incorporate that for your investors or your clients in your business. Maybe you have absolutely no interest in building and doing it yourself, but you would love to work with someone like John who has that company up and running. That might be a connection and an action step for you. Maybe you're somebody who wants to work more with investors as a client source. And you heard John talk about the importance of investors in his business and how he's been able to serve them and why he's been able to serve them. And so maybe that's an action that you can take as well, as being a little bit more intentional about connecting and talking directly to the investor community. Whatever it is, make a decision, take action on it. If you want to follow us, you could just subscribe to this podcast. Maybe that's the action that you need to take. But if you click the little button below, you'll be notified every time we drop a new episode, which is weekly. You can also follow us at topproducersnation.com to learn more about our online community for agents to help them become top producers. We have all kinds of software support, training, courses designed to help you do that. So feel free to reach out to us if we can help you in any way. And we will see you on the next episode of the Top Producers Nation podcast. We'll see you later.